I got to check out the latest release, Tarzan.
Segue.
Okay, my bad. We got to check out. Yes, Tarzan released in theaters, my man. I don't even know if I have the words, yo.
Okay, so my first thing on Tarzan, because I haven't seen it yet, but I would find if I went to see this movie, I'd be a little bit distracted by the gym bod. That is Skarsgård in this movie, and I'm like, there's no way he's eating that.
He takes his shirt off, and it never goes back on.
She's right.
No, she's
I also say it never goes back.
It's a deal.
But he's eating like stuff off the bone and everything like that. They didn't eat that well then.
I got my money's worth.
I got my money.
Well, it's like the paleo diet, right?
What people don't know is
they also do CrossFit. Like,
yeah. For those who don't know, the main character is this shirtless dude's abs, and the plot is that this guy's raised in the jungle, so he doesn't know what clothes are. Yeah. And he goes to the big city, and he has to fight some bad guys, and he has to go back to the jungle. So he continues being shirtless.
So this isn't like an origin story, right?
No.
So this is like he's already in the city, which is hearing that I actually really kind of like got it behind it a little bit, because I didn't want like a Tarzan origin story. I didn't want any other origin story that why don't I just have this guy later, then go back? I thought that was a good take on it. Does that work for you?
They flashback a little bit.
They have to, I'm sure,
but yeah, it wasn't an origin story. Definitely flashback, which definitely give you context for what you're walking into.
Right.
Yeah, it was a very interesting way to actually present that too, because I was afraid that it was going to be an origin story, but I'm like, you know what, I'm here, let me try not to go in jaded. And then when it didn't start off that way, and I'm like, you know what, okay, I really appreciate that they're taking this approach. And then they did that first flashback, and I'm thinking now, so you're just gonna do a whole like 10-15 minute flash, and I'm gonna forget about the main story while you present all this BS that I kind of already know. No, they did it in small flashes. You got 2 minutes here, 3 minutes here, 2 minutes here, and it never took away from the main story. They worked those parts in. Kind of ham-fistedly, though. I'm not gonna say it was that smooth.
I agree,
but they worked. Be a little hammy, right? I mean, you got to suspend your disbelief at this point. That guy was raised by wolves and eat raw meat.
Well, there was other things that really distracted you from it. Like
anytime anyone's had a line.
Yeah, it's somewhere they sprinkled in Sam Jackson too. So let your head around that.
I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What's he doing here?
I don't think he knew.
Sam's like, I'm doing a movie. I don't. Tarzan.
I was almost mad.
I can't be that racist.
Yeah, I know.
No. Okay. Well, the actual premise of this movie is this takes place years after the traditional story of Tarzan,
like
that
the
we know.
Greystoke Tarzan.
Yes.
Right.
He's been back living in civilization, and he's been requested by the government to return to help them acquire some land. Actually, was it Britain?
No, he was in Britain. Was it Belgium?
He was in Britain, yes. He met them in Britain, where he also met Sam Jackson playing Dr. George Washington.
Something like that.
I like that none of us, we don't even really know what this movie's about. Because it's so loosey-goosey.
Sure.
It was.
Your plot light. Here we go.
First of all, I'm going to say off the bat, just because everything I say from this point on is going to make it seem like I hated this movie, I recommend folks to see this movie. It is ridiculous.
Now,
almost on some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadow level ridiculous. Like that deep. Okay, James, you were there. You know what I'm talking about.
So I like the idea of a movie with the action scenes. You know what I mean? The CGI and him swinging from vine to vine. I wanted a lot of that. You know what I mean? The guy that has that kind of grip strength really kind of intrigues me. So is there a lot of action scenes like that? Is it fun like that?
There is tons of action in this, but none of it's for the purpose you'd expect.
Okay. So it's not fun, is that what you're saying?
If fun is up to interpretation.
Okay.
Tarzan is actually being asked to return to Africa for a very noble purpose. To stop a bunch of people who are taking advantage of local tribes, to exploit diamonds from them, and to stop slavers who are actively.
Well, I mean, he actually discovers that. I mean, because he was summoned by
that's what Sam Jackson was there for.
Right, that's what Sam Jackson was there for. That was his impression, but he was actually invited by the Belgian government as a means of trying to negotiate or try to help him out because the Belgians and the Brits ultimately were running roughshod within the Congo. And they're like, okay, we're trying to make this go to the next level in terms of us making this country be prosperous under Belgian and British rule.
That was the smoke screen.
How do they reconcile the fact? How do they reconcile the fact that they're asking a white guy to save the slaves?
Because Tarzan is the only. This is where it becomes, and if you'll pardon the term,
because he's a gorilla man.
This is the concept of the impossible white man movie. Is when you have someone of Caucasian background, specifically going into a non-Caucasian field, environment, location, anything, and they become the ultimate savior. We could not have solved the problem without you.
It's like The Last Samurai.
Yeah, but see, I'm defending The Last Samurai because the title The Last Samurai actually refers to the Ken Watanabe character. character.
Okay,
Fair enough.
I'm taking
this
it.
was
I have to believe that.
this was not. Tarzan is the link that the white government has to the African jungle, Congo tribe people. He's the direct link, and he's the best representative they have.
You might even say he's the
one to go to.
missing link.
But, well, without harping on it too much, because I don't want to give away spoilers. I didn't realize you hadn't seen it where we had
No, I saw a farting corpse movie.
a fart. Yeah.
Which also
That
was
a-
excellent, though.
That was
I
a
mean-
little different. I will say this
Less
took
shirtlessness, though.
Impossible White Man movie to the ultimate extreme.
Absolutely.
And it became a good ass time when it got more and more ridiculous.
Yeah.
For
Well, you
a
gotta,
long
when you
time,
buy
the movie
in and you can
starts
sit
to-
there, right? It's gonna
Yeah.
be good. I'm intrigued. I do want to see this. I didn't happen to get it this week.
I will warn you, it starts off with the very noble cause of first Tarzan's going to assist the government. Then he's going to prevent the diamond smugglers. And then he's going to help thwart the slavers.
Yeah, he's
and at
a
some
busy
point,
man, that guy.
all that goes like straight out the window because, oh man, yo, they touched my girl, son. It's on now. Jackson, you with me? And then Sam Jackson's like, I got my rifle. Let's do this. It gets so nth degree that the movie never stops taking itself supremely seriously.
Yeah.
There are a couple of jokes here and there, but Tarzan is serious.
What about Margot
The
Robbie?
government is
She's in
serious.
this, and
Margot
I-
Robbie is serious, and in many ways, she was kind of more badass in some scenes than Tarzan. Tarzan did a lot of mugging.
Yeah.
He did a lot of mugging,
This
but she was the one.
and I say this with extreme love.
Yeah.
Truly a movie with the female gaze.
Really?
Truly, that is.
Well said.
I'll argue
Well
that this is
said.
something that doesn't really exist, and we all exist within a patriarchal male gaze culture. But on a fun note, it's truly one of those it's a bodice ripper action movie.
By the way,
And
I think a lot of guys are into that.
Yeah,
You
it's male
enjoy
power
that,
fantasy. And I say this
Yeah.
respectfully, and that it's a positive thing.
Sure.
That Tarzan is not presented as this hyper masculine, I'm going to punch everything in the face.
Oh no, he's not.
He's
Every
he's a
fight scene,
sensitive. He's a sensitive. He just wants
Well, he
to
does
be
that, like,
a member of society.
lean
He
neck
explains
thing.
to children
Yeah.
why he looks a certain way.
Exactly, interacting
and
with the
talks a certain
kids
way.
and
Yeah,
all
like
that
it's
stuff.
very, and I say this very positively. Too many action movies. He's a bad boy with a heart
He's
of
a
gold.
bad boy.
Too many action
Love
movies
it.
rely on the hyper masculine, neck vein punch 'em up, and it was refreshing to see this movie with a lot of intriguing action sequences and a main character that I would even argue that he's barely even the main character. He's kind of just something that forwards the plot, but the plot is something that happens to Tarzan, not so much because of
Yeah.
him.
He's just a.
I don't know. They really couldn't have ended this the way they did
Well,
without Tarzan.
I just mean that the overall plot is motivated less by I'm Tarzan and I'm on a mission and I'm the hero of this story. He is the eye candy.
I may have to go with Amy on this
I'm
one.
also
I wouldn't go that
emphasize
far,
that
mostly because
You gentlemen
I-
may have a little bit different perspective.
I've got a
than-
different perspective because he
I haven't
seemed
seen it. I
more
can't
like almost an absentee hero.
That's a good way of phrasing
Yeah.
it. That's a good way
Yeah.
of phrasing it.
Yeah, a lot of obvious tropes were in this movie. You go to Tarzan's old tribe that he and Jane used to live with, and then something bad's gonna happen here. It's telegraphed.
Absolutely.
We travel through the jungle with Tarzan, but we're really taking in more of the environment and dealing with Sam Jackson's experience
Yeah,
than
but it's
Tarzan.
still-
Tarzan's it's like
It's
a,
still important that he looks good and that you appreciate the way he looks. Like I mean, even like old action movies, the way Stallone was all cut up. Like I think I went and
I never
enjoyed those.
saw Stallone play Tarzan.
But
No,
I mean,
not
what
Tarzan, but I'm saying like in Rambo and stuff.
He swings some fire.
I mean, the one thing I put forward. I mean, I say the big difference between both of those is that you actually fell in love with the character of Stallone. So even if you pick Rambo or Rocky, you were with Stallone.
But it's
You
still
were following
important that they're all greased up and jacked.
Right.
That's part of it. That you have
Absolutely.
to
That's
like
part of
that.
the
And I think it's
flaws.
more important to the men than it is to women going to watch.
Well,
it.
that's what-
Absolutely, I agree with
Agreed.
you. But the kicker is that with Tarzan, I found myself just really looking forward to the people he interacted with. I look forward to the interactions, not really Tarzan. So
That's what I meant
with the,
so
when he
much.
interacted with the, with
Well, yeah,
with the
I'm not going to be in the
gorilla,
back of the movie.
whoever.
Take your shirt off.
I'm already doing that
Yeah,
for
right,
you.
well,
Don't worry.
She got that.
And then
how
he
many
never
ladies
put it
in
back
this-
on.
Yeah,
we were sitting in
not
front of these
comfortable. I can't
very
swing like
vocal
that.
ladies
Yes.
in the theater.
You can't
Good.
swing. You can't swing like that in a cravat.
Man,
Get out of here.
this dude took their shirt off, and you heard, oh, and it was just like shifting behind us. I'm like, yo, I'm a little uncomfortable.
He looked like Hulk, you know what I mean? He had the Hulk teared pants too, no shirt. It's like just small Hulk.
And Skarsgård there, if you ever seen him on True Blood, he's one of the
Yeah.
more like emotionally effective characters.
Yeah.
And in this movie, he was completely like mostly deadpan for the movie.
Well,
and the thing is, I think
he learned from gorillas.
no, I think he was trying to. I think it was trying to affect this like brooding, tortured inside. Like, no, you're not, man.
Well,
You've got
like
your life, your happiness. You've been in civilization. You're gonna come back to your peoples. You know, if anything, you should be the most like emotionally expressive here, and everyone else gave me that except you.
And I think that's the thing that really bothered me about the movie, because I mean, I'm expecting a little bit more from Tarzan, and in the end, all I really got was you, as AB said, pushing the plot along. I feel bad that I was looking forward to the other characters' interaction with him and not him, because exactly what you said, P. It was all nothing but deadpan delivery. I'm waiting for your next interaction to see the other characters who interact with you show emotion.
So much of the preparation for these characters now is like getting into the shape. Like, oh, I got to be on the strictest diet for 9 months, and it's all about getting in shape and getting there. None of it's going to like actually preparing for the role mentally and to like delivering these lines and being emotional. You know what I mean? It's like they turned John Krasinski from a comedy guy into this schlubby action star. They're doing the same thing with Chris Pratt. They're taking an ace comedian and making him a dumb action star. It's just like you're taking away from the actual roles they're doing and making them just these pieces of meat. You know what I mean? They got great bodies and they're doing these great action movies that I pay money to go see and everything, but you're wondering why the characters are suffering. It's probably just because it's so much focused on the packing on the pounds. Every interview you see, every time they go on to Conan O'Brien, it's like, oh, you had to get in real good shape for this. Yeah, I eat 6 chicken breasts a day with broccoli.
I won't say this movie is hurting for substance. I'll say it's hurting for logical substance. It struggles for what it wants to be, but it is a lot of things. I will say they really did try to tell the noble story, and they really did accomplish it eventually, but not in the ways that they probably should have. Whenever Tarzan got into a fight scene, it was just raw.
Is it violent?
They went out of their way.
Because Greystoke, Tarzan the Greystoke, that is one of the most violent, nasty movies.
Grisly deaths.
So I mean, I'm glad it falls in that line, because that's it runs with those old ones.
It doesn't just fall in there. That's what I'm getting at. It at several points tries to be the lighthearted. It's Tarzan and his buddy in the jungle. You know, Sam Jackson cracked the joke. He almost licked the gorilla's nuts. You know, and like these gags there. I even mentioned how at the end when we go back to Sam Jackson and his approach towards Tarzan starts off as, you know, it's the savage I'm going to talk to and get to help my cause, and now it's like, my man Tarzan, look at him over there.
Pretty much.
And the whole thing is like that like lighthearted fare when not. Like 2 minutes ago in this movie, you had someone get eaten on camera by a crocodile.
Is Jaimon Hansu in this thing?
Jaimon Hansu is in this movie.
I didn't even know, but I'm like, Jaimon Hansu's in this movie.
The most African guy on the planet has the least prominent role.
Sorry, it's the last time.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much more time on this. There's not that much more to say. It's just.
It's enjoyable. I liked it, and it was good.
Yeah. It's summer fun, right?
You want
better
summer
than
fun?
Summer fun, though.
This is Tarzan, a story we know about a boy that was raised by gorillas and then is adept at swinging through vines and communing with nature. This dude is talking to animals, calling on stampedes.
Phil Collins is playing in the background.
He's superhuman. He's kicking dudes through walls. He's kicking dudes through stone walls. This is no exaggeration. He did this.
And he gets back on the ab rocker for about 25 minutes.
He's bulletproof.
Yeah.
At one point,
keep his macros up.
Yeah, he's taking down steamboats barehanded.
Hold on, I need another chicken breast.
And
quinoa.
I love how at the big confrontation at the end, Tarzan calls out everybody. He's calling out the buffalo. He's calling out the ostriches. He's calling out the gorillas. They all come and back him up like street gangs. And then he calls out every village warrior within in all of Africa. They all come to back him up. Like they line up like in the movie Zulu. And then Tarzan taking out an entire army almost single-handedly.
Pretty much.
While all these dudes, all these warriors that came, stand there bopping like they're about to freestyle.
Like old tagging, man. Tarzan's not tagging.
Yeah, we gonna get in. Tarzan, hey man.
I'm just gonna wait till he needs help. Send her up. Dude, this is my favorite review I think we've ever done. Not gonna lie. For a movie I haven't even seen.
So what I'm saying is 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
No, I
rated
would
a full
recommend Cats
6-pack.
see this. Yeah. No, I would say I'll tell people to see it.
Netflix it.
Netflix
it.
I say go, but maybe go tipsy.
Screw guys. Screw that. I'm going IMAX big screen.
There you go. Yeah.
I need those gorilla nuts to be life size.
I know Herb's gonna be there for those cheese grater abs.
I mean, big up to Christoph Waltz, though. I gotta give him a shout out. Christoph Waltz.
We're not talking about his accent no more. All right, so Amy.